Band in Boston. They bill it as the funniest fundraiser in town, but what it really is a chance for some of the biggest names in Boston to dress up and make fools of themselves. Politicians like the governor, Congress people, the attorney general, media personalities, business leaders, and for the first time this year, the heads of all three major museums in Boston, among many others. In the process, this motley crew raises money for Urban Improv. It's a local nonprofit which teaches kids serious life skills through improvisational theater. This will be my second year as co-host. The other co-host will be my radio co-host on Boston Public Radio, Marjorie Egan. Hi, Marjorie.
Hello, Jim.
State Education Secretary Jim Pizer. Nice to see you.
Good to
Mr.
be here.
Secretary and State Senator Sonia Chang-Diaz. Senator, it's great to see you.
Yes, well.
Too. I'm going to do something I've never done before on the show. We're going to vote about what we're going to talk about.
Oh, okay.
You're the Secretary of Education. You're the chair of the Senate Education Committee.
Is this an electoral college thing?
Exactly. You're obsessed with education issues. So
I
you
am.
have two choices. How many of you would like to talk about education policy? Raise your hand. That's one.
I can't
One and a half. How many would prefer to talk about Band in Boston? Thank you very much. That takes the day.
I was outvoted.
How many days? How many years have you been doing this?
This is my 7th or maybe 8th.
Why do you do
probably
it?
seventh year.
Why do you do it?
It's fun and it's a good cause.
What's the cause?
Well, so Urban Improv serves a lot of schools in my district. A lot of kids who are my constituents are served by Urban Improv. And I view it as a youth violence prevention program, basically, that it teaches kids through the medium of improv. As the clip said, improvisation skills for life, right, and dealing with difficult confrontation situations.
How many years have you been doing this?
Probably the same. I haven't been doing it consecutively, but I had sort of a spurt earlier, and I've been back for probably 3 years.
Have you ever been to any of the training sessions for kids?
Yeah, I have. I went to one last year.
What's that like?
It's fascinating to watch. So the troupe comes out, and they're typically maybe a half a dozen actors who are there, and they will put on a scene. It's typically a scene that's involved. They're playing youths. And they will basically sort of act out a scene that ends up in some kind of conflict or some kind of challenging situation. And then they have a conversation with the kids who are there in attendance. They invite them into the scene. And they use the scene as a way to sort of practice how to deal with these things.
How many years have you done this?
This is my second year.
Well, I know that because it's
And
my second year.
Yeah, I know, it's the second year. And you know what? We have a very, very high-profile secret guest, too.
We do?
Yes, we do.
Oh, we
I'm
do?
very excited about it, yep.
Yeah, and we got to meet last year. We got to
came
meet
to
some of the kids who've benefited from this program.
Yeah, they came into the studio. They're unbelievably talented. They're really fun. And, you know, conflict resolution, a lot of us wish we'd learn that earlier
For sure.
in life.
So let's talk about this here. So you said we're co-hosting
Yes,
this
we
thing.
are.
And we're doing a secret thing with a high profile.
That's right.
So it is secret?
It is secret.
So forget
I hope it is.
What are you doing this year? Who are you playing?
I think you guys got to buy the book.
Well, you're not allowed to know?
No.
So who'd you play? What'd you do last year?
Last year, I think I was Oprah. I mean, they've really...
were Oprah?
You were definitely
I know.
Oprah.
I think
I
they were
remember.
maybe
That's a good one.
cast last year, but they've had me run the gamut. Some years I played Miley Cyrus, Bristol Palin, pregnant Bristol Palin, way back then Sarah Palin the next year. So they've really, had me run the range.
And were you Hamilton? What were
I
you
was
last
Alexander
year?
Hamlin last year.
And what have you been in other... You're not going to tell me what you're on
no,
this year, I assume.
So I've played Mitt Romney for obvious
look
reasons,
like
I guess.
Mitt
See, don't
Romney. Yes, you do.
I've played a Bill Clinton who had a man crush on Barack Obama.
Ooh, I don't think that's real.
Yeah, well, and
range.
then and George Bush, who was in love with Condi Rice.
Now, I should say, Marjorie and I were both shocked because we know you a little bit through your work through the years, even before you were the Secretary of Education. And you didn't just go out there like an amateur. You can really sing. Is that not? Can we agree? He can really sing?
He can
Yeah,
really
he's good.
sing.
So the price of admission, my friend,
kind.
Mr. Secretary, was take it away.
Okay.
I
so
mean,
you're really going to
seriously,
do this? Okay.
I just did it. Go ahead.
All
This is
right,
the Secretary of
I will-
Education, Jim Pizer.
I will sing a song from a prior...
Fine, go ahead. Stop
prior
talking and
Band
start
in
singing.
Boston.
Go
All right.
ahead.
I dreamed I woke up, walked out the door. No Boston Globe there, an empty floor. They say it's online, they say it's free. You can't spill coffee on your PC. Bye-bye, Globe. How long you want me to go on?
No, keep going. That is quite excellent.
I can keep going.
I know that's fine. That was actually, do you sing and dance?
No, I have the bun from dance training for years as a kid, but not a singer.
You know, one of the things that's really weird for the two of us, we do radio and television, and is it fair to say we're almost never nervous? And we have somebody huge on the show. We're a little anxious about the interview, but rarely nervous.
Because in the studio, it's just you're there by yourself.
Exactly. But weren't you nervous last year doing this thing? The audience is huge.
Very nervous, yeah. It's a big crowd of people, and you're afraid of forgetting your lines or doing something wrong or tripping.
Or embarrassing yourself. So both of you obviously are pretty public figures in your life, speak to a lot of people, address a lot. Are you nervous when you're doing that? I mean, this is a whole different part of you.
So in the sketch comedy part where you're sort of holding your script, that's like,
How about
if you forget your
singing?
line, but singing, I get pretty darn nervous.
Were you
Not
nervous here?
I was a little nervous. Yeah.
And do you get nervous doing this thing?
Well, yes, I'm sure there's some butterflies in the stomach. But the thing is that you learn pretty quickly that when people make mistakes is when it's the most funny.
Yeah.
So it's
I've never found that funny
low
here, actually.
stakes.
It's funny you should say
in
that.
in the show, in Band in Boston, those are the moments.
And one key
when
element of it is there's virtually no rehearsal. You sort of show up, there's a quick run through, and then you're on. So
Yeah.
Just like this.
Just
Actually,
like-
it's very
actually
You know,
the
one of
same.
the things when I urge people, I'd never been there before. I'd heard about this for years till Marjorie and I were lucky enough to be asked to MC this thing
No,
last
they
year.
never invited us before, Jim.
I know, and we had a beg
We were
actually to
very-
do
You
it
guys were
last year.
perfect cast.
We were
Totally
perfect.
We were
But,
very upset.
But the weird part about this is, with all due respect to some wonderful people who run the St. Patrick's Day breakfast, it could not be unfunnier. You don't have to say anything because I know it's your colleagues. You don't want to. I mean,
I've had a good laugh or two at the breakfast.
laugh for 2 in how many years? Fine, exactly. But is it not fair to say this is actually funny and entertaining?
Yes.
It's
Yes.
really like
It's
a
a
good
riot.
show,
Yes.
is it not?
It's actually professionally written. I mean, these people
is.
know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So it is
Professionally
very,
written.
and they actually do have. We were talking about this earlier. They do have some professionals who show up,
That are really
interspersed
good.
with the amateurs who actually are very good.
But we should say amongst the amateurs, that beyond people like you who people know, some of the biggest business leaders, Jack Connors is participating this year, the heads of hotels, the heads of banks, media. I mean, it's really this great array.
Remember Jim McGovern last year came out with some ridiculous wig on. He was
Yeah.
dancing around. I
Congressperson,
mean,
yeah.
it was a riot.
And
Yeah.
your boss, the governor, is making an appearance too. Is he a funny guy in private or no?
He's hilarious.
Exactly.
The funniest man I know.
Ever, I know. It's nice to see you, Marjorie, again. See
Okay.
you tomorrow. Jim, see you tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Secretary of Education and Senator
tomorrow.
Sonia Chang Diaz. Thank you so much. Again, for more information about the event, it is really fun. Trust me. You can visit bandinboston.org.